In this video, we're going to use reduction formulas to simplify an expression. It says, with the aid of a power-reducing formula, 12 cosine to the fourth alpha is equal to which of the following? Well, first of all, I'm going to start by rewriting this because I know that I have a power-reducing formula for cosine squared alpha. Cosine squared alpha is actually equal to 1/2 1 plus cosine of 2 alpha, which you can see is a double angle here. So I'm going to use this version with cosine squared alpha to start to simplify this down and reduce the power or the exponent that we have here. So let's start by saying, all right, 12 cosine to the fourth alpha. And then that is actually equal to 12 cosine squared alpha squared. If I square the cosine squared, I would get this here. I would get cosine to the fourth alpha. So that's actually equal to, if I now substitute this piece here in for my square, I end up with 12. And then I would have 1/2 1 plus cosine of 2 alpha squared. Now, if I actually do this squaring piece, that's going to equal 12. Square the 1/2, I get 1/4. And then I would have 1 plus cosine of 2 alpha squared. Now I'm going to square this piece, this cosine 2 alpha, or 1 plus cosine 2 alpha, and that would equal 12 times 1/4. And actually, I could probably multiply those together at 12 times 1/4. I'm going to wait for a second, but we end up with 1. So if I square this, I'm going to write it out here. 1 plus cosine of 2 alpha times itself when I multiply that, that'd be 1 times 1, which is 1. 1 times cosine 2 alpha, I get plus cosine 2 alpha. Do the same thing here, cosine 2 alpha times 1, so plus cosine 2 alpha. And then I have plus cosine squared 2 alpha. Kind of running out of room there. This is equal to 1 plus 2 cosine 2 alpha plus cosine squared 2 alpha. Now I got a couple things I'm going to do here. I'm going to substitute this back in, and I would have 1 plus 2 cosine 2 alpha plus cosine squared 2 alpha. I'm going to, let's distribute the 1/4 to each term. So we end up with 12 1/4 plus 1/4 times 2 would be 1/2 cosine 2 alpha. And then we're going to have plus 1/4 cosine squared 2 alpha. Now I'm going to apply this cosine squared 2 alpha. I already know that cosine squared of alpha would equal this piece here. So cosine squared of 2 alpha, cosine squared of 2 alpha is going to equal 1/2 1 plus cosine of 4 alpha. So if I just put a 2 right here, that would change this value. Instead of 2 alpha, that would change that to 4 alpha. So that's what I'm going to use here. I'm going to write that out here. I'm going to say cosine squared of 2 alpha is just going to equal 1/2 1 plus cosine of 4 alpha. And I'm using the formula above. I'm using this formula right here. But instead of just having alpha for my angle, I have 2 alpha there, which would make that whole piece 4 alpha. And then I'm going to substitute that in right here for cosine squared 2 alpha. So I end up with 12 times 1/4 plus 1/2 cosine 2 alpha plus, I'm going to have 1/4 times, this would be 1/2, 1 plus cosine 4 alpha. Yeah. Got a few sets of parentheses there. Okay. Now I'm going to do some distributing. I'll start with the distributing on the inside. I get 12 parentheses 1/4 plus 1/2 cosine of 2 alpha. Distribute the 1/4 to this piece here, and I get 1/8. So plus 1/8. 1 plus cosine 4 alpha. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 1/8 to each piece there. So I end up with 12 1/4 plus 1/2 cosine 2 alpha. That would be plus 1/8 plus 1/8 cosine 4 alpha. Now distribute the 12 to each term, and I end up with, that's 12 over 4, which would be, I'm just going to write it for now, 12 over 4 plus 12 over 2 cosine 2 alpha plus 12 times 1/8 would be 12 over 8 plus 12 times 1/8 would be 12 over 8 cosine of 4 alpha. All right, let's go ahead and combine some stuff together. This will be 3, and this is going to be 3/2. So if I add 3 and 3/2, well, let's write it out. That'd be 3, and let's bring that up over here. That's plus 3 over 2 plus 6 cosine of 2 alpha, and that'd be plus, this is 3 over 2 cosine of 4 alpha. So now if I add 3 and 3/2 together, that's actually going to equal 3 plus 3/2, that's 6/2. If I write that, that should be, that'd be 9/2 plus 6 cosine of 2 alpha plus 3/2 cosine of 4 alpha. And that is the simplified version of this 12 cosine 4 alpha. Basically, we reduced the power of cosine to the 4th down to just cosines. And so we used all these power reduction formulas to get to this spot right here.